on Sunday, we had the Eifel Grand Prix at Nürburgring, and Lewis Hamilton won. Not a shocker. That actually tied the record for the most race wins in Formula One history with Michael Schumacher. So 91 times Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton have won races in F1. Michael Schumacher's retired. He's not going to get any more. Lewis is poised to pass that probably, maybe even next race. I mean, he's going to likely win the world title, the Drivers' Championship. He's also going to probably win. I'd be surprised if he didn't win the very next race and already get his 92nd win. So the excitement wasn't there for me. I got a lot of messages saying, I couldn't believe when it happened. And I was kind of like, what's it? What's the thing that happened? And I realized, they're talking about Lewis Hamilton winning his 91st race. And it's kind of cool. But again, if you do the math, you look at the rest of the year, you go, he's going to break this record. I knew that. You would have known that a month and a half ago, at the beginning of the year. You look at, there's no way Lewis Hamilton wasn't going to break this record. So I wasn't deeply moved, but I was, it's kind of a eye-opening realization when you go, wow, Lewis Hamilton is just utterly dominant. We already knew that, but this is another example of just exactly how dominant he is in Formula One. Now, 5 people had to retire or did not finish this race. George Russell crashed after Kimi Räikkönen ran into him. I thought that was Kimi Räikkönen's fault. The FIA did agree. Kimi Räikkönen kept racing in the race. I thought he didn't give George Russell enough room. The FIA gave him a 10-second penalty as he continued on with the race. George Russell did not finish because of that. 4 other drivers had engine problems where Lando Norris's McLaren didn't work. Alex Albon for Red Bull had to retire. Esteban Ocon for Renault had to retire. And surprisingly, Valtteri Bottas had to retire for Mercedes. And I realized something on Sunday. I have been massively underselling a potential matchup we have coming up in the future in Formula One. I don't know how I missed it. It's pretty obvious to me that Lewis Hamilton is going to win the Drivers' Championship. But the question I haven't been asking enough is, who's going to get second? Valtteri Bottas or Max Verstappen? Valtteri Bottas has 161 points right now in F1. Max Verstappen has 147. And on Sunday at Nürburgring, Red Bull was keeping up with Mercedes. At times, Red Bull was actually outpacing Mercedes. So I have confidence that Max Verstappen could actually finish second this year in F1. It'd be crazy. It'd be cool. It'd be interesting. We have 6 races left. It'd be fun to see. I like Max Verstappen. I think he's interesting and a fun racer. So we will see what happens in the race for second in the Drivers' Championship. Now, Daniel Ricardo got a podium on Sunday for Renault. He got 3rd place. That's huge for him and huge for Renault. He hasn't gotten a podium since joining Renault at all. I think it's the first podium for them in like 9 years or some crazy. It's been a long time since they did that. Maybe it's I can't be 9. There's no way it can be 9 years. Maybe it's 9 years since they got a podium at Nürburgring. Is it really 9 years since Renault got a podium? I hope I'm wrong. That better be wrong. I'm going to do some fact checking. I'm not going to put it in the comments. I don't. Maybe I'll put it in the breakout comments, but I looked that up. I'm curious. I think that's true, and I don't know, but I know that this is the best we've seen Daniel Ricciardo look since joining Renault. And it's kind of sad he's leaving because Renault and Daniel Ricciardo have made so much progress together. And I know he's a fan favorite, but I feel like he's really figuring things out at Renault, and right as I figure things out, he's leaving for McLaren. It's kind of sad and unfortunate. It's also funny, by the way, team principal for Renault, Cyril, a guy I really like. I'm going to say his first name. I can't even say his last name. I'm not French. I'm an idiot. Can't say it. He is going to get a tattoo of Ricardo's choice after the podium. They had a bet between the two of them. I think that's good motivation by a team boss. I really like that. I like Cyril. He's on, if you watch Drive to Survive on Netflix, he's a big figure in that show. And I really like him. And I think that's a smart move. That bet, no one's really talked about this part of the bet, is that Daniel Ricciardo has money. He wants to, he's a hungry dude. He wants to win. But little motivation like that, hey, Daniel's a fun, joking kind of guy. That's from Cyril, from your perspective looking at Renault. If you're like a boss looking down at Cyril, you go, Cyril, that's great motivation to get the best out of your driver. And I think that's really, really cool. I like that moment. Now, it was also cool to see Renault pass a Ferrari. I am sure that Renault, from an optics perspective, as a car manufacturer, went, Yeah, we're passing a Ferrari. What's up, Ferrari? And by the way, that marketing does work. I was at Costco the other day, and I bought a case of Red Bull because I like Max Verstappen. I needed energy drinks. Buying in bulk saves you money long term, and I looked at all the other options and went, you know what? I'm buying Red Bull because of Max Verstappen and the F1 team, and I did. So this marketing really does work, and so I'm happy for Renault that passing Ferrari. I hope that moment is one that they share that 10-second clip a bunch on social media and say, yeah, we're Renault. We build cars, and we're not half bad. Now, Daniel Ricardo now has a strong hold on fourth place in the Drivers' Championship in F1. He's 10 points ahead of Sergio Perez, who's in fifth place. And the battle for third in the Constructors' Championship, the team race, is heating up. I want to show you this. Mercedes is in first. They have 391 points. They're going to win. It's pretty clear and obvious, unless all their cars explode and they can't do anything. They're going to win. So Mercedes will win. Red Bull's in second. They have 211 points. Here's the battle for third place in F1. You have Racing Point with 120 points, McLaren with 116 points, and Renault with 114 points. Racing Point, McLaren, Renault. Just back to back to back, all three in a row, really, really tight-knit. And then you have Ferrari in sixth with 80 points. Not 100 points, the lowly 80 points. So Ferrari is 34 points behind Renault. They could win the next race and still be in sixth place. That's crazy to me. That's so bad for Ferrari. They really struggled to even pass a Haas in this race at the end of the race. I went, oh, man. So Ferrari's just awful. And by the way, Haas is driving with a Ferrari engine. I mean, the fact that they're struggling to pass even that other team, Ferrari is in bad shape. Now, the final thing to say is that Niko Hulkenberg was incredibly impressive on Sunday. He woke up on Saturday morning, did not know he was going to be racing. Got a call because Lance Stroll, the driver for Racing Point, got sick. Not COVID-19, apparently. Literally sounded like food poisoning, actually, the way his symptoms were being described. So Racing Point called Hulkenberg to fill in. No practice. He gets in the car. He just qualifies with no practice, literally. Qualifies last, it's hard to hold that against him with no practice. Then on Sunday, he starts the race in last. That's 20th place. And finishes in the points in 8th place. How crazy is that? Starts last, finishes in 8th. No practice, barely drove the car at all. And I watch this and wonder, how is Niko Hulkenberg not signed to a team in F1? It makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. Niko Hulkenberg deserves a seat in F1. It's just so obvious to me. He's a great driver. He's better than many people who drive for F1. I don't get it. It's crazy to me he doesn't have a drive. I mean, if you put him with Max Verstappen and Red Bull, I'd love to see that. What would happen there? I don't know. But something. Niko Hulkenberg should be in F1. And the fact that some of the drivers driving, Nicholas Latifi, Romain Grosjean, how did they have a drive and Niko Hulkenberg does not? It makes no sense to me. And I know that Haas is looking for drivers. I hope they don't get Niko Hulkenberg. Niko Hulkenberg deserves better. I'm telling you. What would happen if you replace Alex Albon with Niko Hulkenberg? No, he's got to get along with Max. Max is the clear number one there. Stay out of the way, Max Verstappen. But if you can Niko Hulkenberg get a good team for once in his life? The guy's got to be in F1. It's a crazy travesty that he's not, and it makes no sense to me. So Niko Hulkenberg has please got to be brought back to F1 to be a driver. It doesn't make sense he doesn't have a drive, and it's a terrible, terrible tragedy.